Good morning, students. Welcome to TSN classes. Today we'll start a new chapter, that is cell structure and functions. Now I think you all have read about cell in the previous classes. Now in this chapter we will study about the structure and functions of the cells. Now biology is the study of living organisms. The detailed description of their forms and appearance only brought out their diversity. It is the cell theory that emphasizes the unity underlying this diversity of forms, that is the cellular organization of all life forms. A description of a cell structure and cell growth by division is given in the chapter comprising the unit. Cell theory also created a sense of mystery around underlying phenomena, that is physiological and behavioral process. Now students, I think you all know about cell. Now cell is the basic structure and function unit of our life. Every organism is made up of cells. You all know that to form any building we need bricks. We assemble bricks together and then we form any building. Similarly, in the same way in our body also, cell are the building blocks of our body. They are the structural and functional unit of our life, and in this chapter we will study about the cell. Now in this chapter we will study about the different cell organelles, what are their functions, about the cell theories, about the cell physiological and the behavior process which is undergo in the cell. Okay, about different functions performed by the cells like digestion, excretion, memory, defense and recognition. Okay, now come to now students, come to chapter number 8, cell, the unit of life. Now I think you all know that some are living organism and some are non-living. Now basically what is cell? Unicellular organisms are capable of independent existence and performing the essential functions of life. Now you all know that organisms can have their independent existence and they perform all the essential functions which is required to have a life. Now anything else then a complete structure of a cell does not ensure independent living. Hence cell is the fundamental structural and functional unit of all the living organism. You all know student that in a cell all the complete functions, all the metabolisms takes place in a cell. Therefore cell is the structural, functional and fundamental unit of living organism. Anton von Leeuwenhoek first saw and described the living cell. Who saw the living cell? Anton von Leeuwenhoek first saw the living cell and described about the living cell. Robert Brown discovered the nucleus. Now who discovered the nucleus? Robert Brown discovered the nucleus. Now the invention of the microscope and its improvement lead to an electron microscope revealed all the detailed structure of the cell. Now after the discovery of electron microscope we are now able to study the detailed structure of the cell. Now what is cell theory? Now Matthias Schilden, a German botanist, examined a large number of plants and observed that all plants are composed of different kinds of cells which form the tissue of the plant. At about the same time, Theodore Schwann, a British zoologist, studied different types of animal cell and reported that cell has a thin outer layer which is today known as the plasma membrane. He also concluded based on his studies on the plant and tissue that the presence of the cell wall is a unique characteristic of the plant cell. On the basis of Schwann proposed the hypothesis that the bodies of animals and plants are composed of the cell and product of cell. You know students, who proposed or who had given the cell theory? The cell theory was given by two famous scientists. That the one is Schilden. Schilden was a German botanist, and he told that the plant body is made up of different kinds of cell which in turn form tissues of the plant. Similarly, in the same way and at the same time, Theodor Schwann, who was British geologist, studied the different types of animal cell and reported that the animal cell is made up, that animals are made up of different types of cells, and the outer membrane of which animal cell is made up of is known as plasma membrane. So in this way they both concluded that, or they given a hypothesis that plant and animals are composed of cell or products of cell. Now Shieldon and Swan together formulated the cell theory. Now the cell theory was together given by Shieldon and Swan. Now this theory however did not explain as how new cells are formed. Rudolf Virchow first explained that the cell divide and new cells are formed from pre-existing cell, omnis cellulae e cellulae. He modified the hypothesis of Shieldon and Swan to give the cell theory a final shape. Now see student, Shieldon and Swan only said that the body of the organism is made up of cell, but they didn't tell how they are made up of these cells or how these cells are formed. Now there was another scientist named Rudolf Virchow said or explained that the new cell arise from the pre-existing cell, or he gave the concept called omnis cellula e cellula, means new cells originate or form from the pre-existing cells. Now, cell theory as understood today is all living organisms are composed of cell and product of cell. All cells arise from pre-existing cells. Now, what cell theory says? Cell theory says that all the living organisms are made up of cells and the product of the cells, and the new cells arise from the pre-existing cells. These are the two important points. Now, an overview of cell. Now, in this, see students, you have earlier observed cells in an onion peel or an human cheek cell under the microscope. Let us recollect their structure. The onion cell, which is a typical plant cell, has a distinct cell wall as its outer boundary, and just within it is the cell membrane. The cell of the human cheek has an outer membrane as the delimiting structure of the cell. Inside each cell is a dense membrane bound structure called nucleus. The nucleus contains the chromosome, which in turn contains the genetic material, the DNA. Cells that have membrane bound nuclei are called eukaryotic, whereas cells that lack a membrane bound nucleus are called prokaryotic. Now see students, if you see a cell, now how from where you see a cell, basically students, in an onion peel means जो onion का जो outer covering है, you have to collect that, and you can collect the cell from your cheek part also, the cheek part also. Now what you will see in that structure, in that cell you will see a boundary, outer boundary, that is the limiting boundary, that is known as cell membrane. Now this basically cell membrane is present in both plants and animals. Now this outer membrane acts as a delimiting structure of the cell. Now inside this cell you have a dense membrane bound structure called nucleus. Now in the nucleus you have chromosome, and in the chromosomes you have now DNA. This DNA acts as a genetic material. Now those cells which have well developed nucleus, or means membrane bound nucleus, they are known as eukaryotic, and those which lack a membrane bound nucleus are called as prokaryotic. Now in both prokaryotic and eukaryotic cell, a semi-fluid matrix cytoplasm occupy the volume of the cell. The cytoplasm is the main area of cellular activities in both plant and animal cells. Various chemical reactions occur in it to keep the cell in the living stage. You know students, now in the cell a liquid fluid is present, and this liquid fluid is basically occupy the most of the part of the cell, and this is known as cytoplasm. And due to presence of this cytoplasm, we can say that the cell is in a living state. Now beside the nucleus, the eukaryotic cells have another membrane bound distinct structures called organelles, like endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi complex, lysosomes, mitochondria, microbodies, and vacuoles. The prokaryotic cell lack such membrane bound organelles. Now see students, in the eukaryotic cells you will also found membrane bound structures, and these membrane bound structures are called organelles. Now the various organelles which is present in the cells are endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi complex, lysosome, mitochondria, microbodies, and vacuoles. Now prokaryotic cells lack these membrane bound organelles. Now ribosomes are non-membranous bound organelles found in all the cells, both eukaryotic as well as prokaryotic. Now see students, ribosomes are non-membrane bound organelles and it is found in both eukaryotic and prokaryotic cells. Now within the cells, ribosomes are found not only in the cytoplasm but also within the two organelles, that is chloroplast in the plants and mitochondria and on the rough endoplasmic reticulum. Now see students, now apart from cells, ribosomes are also found in the cytoplasm of also part in the matrix of two other cell organelles, that are chloroplast is basically present in plant, and the mitochondria and on the rough endoplasmic reticulum. Now animal cell contain another non-membranous bound organelles called centrosome, which help in cell division. Now in animal cell, one another non-membranous bound organelle is present, that is known as centrosome, and the main function of centrosome is in cell division. Now cell greatly differ in size, shape and activities. For example, mycoplasma, the smallest cells are only 0.3 micrometer in length. Now see students, cells varies in their size, shape and activities. Now mycoplasma is the smallest cell and it ranges in 0.3 micrometer in length. Now while the bacteria could be 3 to 5 micrometer. Okay, now the largest isolated single cell is the egg of ostrich. Now the largest single cell is egg of ostrich. Now among multicellular organisms, RBCs are about 7 in diameter. Nerve cells are some of the longest cells. Now you all know that the longest cell which is present in our body are the nerve cells. Cells also vary greatly in their shape. They may be of disc-like, polygonal type, columnar type, cuboidal type, thread-like or even irregular. And the shape of the cell may vary with their function they perform. See student, you can see that in diagram 8.1, RBCs are round and biconcave, WBCs are amoeboid in shape, and columnar epithelial cells are long and narrow, nerve cells are branched and long, tracheids are elongated, and mesophyll cells are long and oval in shape. And basically the change in the shape of the cell are due to their functions which they perform. Okay, now see students, thank you.